And here we go. And here we go. This is about to be the craziest live stream I've ever done in my life. I've got YouTube here, TikTok here, and Instagram here. This is going to be crazy. So today, let me just get right into it. Today I've got my smallest jar for my mystery clay. Now, this is going to be really, really fun because I've got 3 different live streams going, and I'm going to be just showing you guys how to apply the product. And I've got my hair right here. Okay, it's about, I'd say, what do you think it is? Between 2 and 3 inches long. I'm due for a haircut this week. I've got very thick hair. Clearly it is like brownish black. So I've got thick, coarse, somewhat wavy-ish hair, as you can see. And this product that I have, which I've been making in my kitchen, handmade, like me in my own hands, for a handful of months now, like a long time. And it's supposed to be a high hold matte finish product. Inside the clay right now, there are 6 ingredients. We've got, the first one is shea butter. Then we've got arrowroot powder. Then we've got beeswax. Then we've got kaolin clay. And then we have rosemary oil. And we have the last one, which is vitamin E oil. So there's only 6 ingredients. So this is supposed to be the healthiest hair clay that I've ever seen in the world, on the market. Wherever you've ever had your eyeballs on anything you could buy hair clay related, this is what my goal with this product, to create the healthiest thing you'd ever put inside your hair that styles it and nourishes it at the same exact time. So let me go ahead and get started, and I will show each camera here exactly what it looks like because there's a lot going on and a lot of people messaging. So first I'm going to show YouTube, and just so you guys, well, it's all right, you guys get it. There's one here, one here, one here. So this is the, I would say, final formulation because I'm currently undergoing the testing with my testers. I've got a handful of testers trying it out, and they're going to give me their feedback in the next few weeks. So it's kind of like a sand color, like a yellowy cream sand color. You guys can see it here on TikTok, right? Nice sand color. Here we go on Instagram. And it smells like rosemary oil. One of the big problems when you have a product there's no petroleum, there's no alcohol, there's no fragrance, and you have all organic, like natural ingredients, smell becomes one of those things that becomes tricky. So I had to do a lot of testing around with the actual clay itself when I'm making it in my kitchen to figure out how do I figure out the temperature thing for the clay so that the smell, the aroma of the oil actually comes out and it doesn't get evaporated the second it hits something that's hot. So I've been playing around with everything, and it does smell like rosemary oil, which is the goal, and it smells amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly how I would style my hair. So it's actually very, very simple. Now, it is about 11:15 a.m. Eastern Time. I woke up around 6:30 a.m. I go to bed at 10 p.m. So I get about 8.5 hours of sleep. Now, with that being said, the last time my hair was wet was last night around, what time did I shower? Like 8:30 is when I showered. So my hair hasn't been wet in like 14 or 15 hours. And so I woke up this morning, did my workout, I took a shower without wetting my hair, specifically to show you guys how I do this, okay? So right now I've got my hair pushed in the opposite direction that I usually style my hair, right? It's pushed toward the right side of my head. And usually when I style it, I push it toward the left side. Now, what this does when you're styling your hair is that it gives you that extra volume that you're looking for. I don't use blow dryers. I don't use any type of tools or anything to help me get volume and to style my hair. No blow dryers, no straightening irons, no nothing to style my hair. So what I do is when I'm going to style my hair for some sort of event or whatever it is, I always push my hair in the opposite direction. I'll usually keep it down when I'm sleeping, and then when I wake up, I'll push it in the opposite direction so that after an hour or so, I'm ready to put the product on. I'm gonna go ahead and style it in the opposite direction first and then push it back over to the actual style that I wanna have. So it's kind of like a 3-step thing. So let's go ahead. Enough talking, right? And I'm gonna see if I can do this on all 3 at the same time. I know it's a small jar, so I apologize, but I'm gonna try and do this as easy as I can. So you pull it out. It's very easy to pull out. There's nothing difficult about it. You saw how quick and easy that was, right? It's very easy to pull out. Now, it's about a pea-sized amount. So I'll move closer for YouTube. A small little pea-sized amount. A small pea-sized amount, right? Over here on Instagram. I'll set this down, and you really do smell the rosemary oil. It smells fantastic. So let me get it on all 3. I'm gonna put it here, and I'm just gonna drag it down. And of course, this is a clay, so there's gonna be some clayness about it. But don't worry, the second I start rubbing it into my hands, it's all going to disappear. It's gonna just evaporate, just vanish, right? It's gonna go invisible, and then it's gonna turn into nothing. So, ready? I'm gonna slowly start mixing in my hand. Just like this. And it's already kind of like a cream, right? Already like a cream. So I keep it going just a little bit more until it's all gone. And now look, there's nothing in my hands, right? There's nothing in my hands. So what I like to do now is go ahead and just get it all into my hair. So this is like step 1 of my 3-step hairstyling process. I get it all into my hair, just like this. I'll get my fingers in between my hair like this, and I'll just push, get it on this side, get it on that side, go from the back to the front. I'll go from the front to the back. Literally, the purpose of all this is to just get the product incorporated in every single, like the whole circumference of the root of your hair. Like if your strand is this, I want the whole circumference of my hair follicle to have product on it. So that's why I go front to back, back to front, this side, and then this side. So I do the whole shebang, the whole shebang. So now I can go in and get my second scoop. All right, same exact size, like a pea-sized amount. All right, just like that, same exact thing, pea-sized amount. And it's gonna be exactly the same, right? Nice clay. There you go, just so you can see it. Nice clay, nice clay. But the second you start mixing it, instantly starts to melt away into a product, right? Looks beautiful. And it smells like rosemary oil. It smells fantastic. So now I can go in and I like to style it in the opposite direction first. So I'll push it over to the right side first. All right, let's get the front, and I'll focus mainly on the front and the sides for this one. There we go. Okay, get a little bit of the sides as well. Get the sides of your head. Right, that's another pet peeve of mine is when I see people with they style their hair with a product and they forget to put product on the sides and back of their head. So it's just like there's like a, depending on if it's a gloss or like a shine or a matte product. If it's like a shiny product, I can tell just by looking at them. Like, you forgot to put product on the sides and back because only the top of your head is shiny and the rest of your head just looks like nothing. So always make sure you get the sides and the back as well, so that the sheen is matched everywhere. All right, very simple. Now that was the second one. Let's go ahead and do the last and final scoop. Right, maybe I'll do a tiny bit. There we go. All right, right. That's it. Same exact thing. Little pea-sized amount. I'm not taking that much product. All right, now we do the same exact thing. Emulsify it in my hands. Go ahead and do this guy. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. And there we go. All right. Emulsify a little bit better. There we go. Cool, right? Nothing in my hands. I'm not playing any games. This is no joke. I'm alive. You guys see exactly what's happening. And it's going down. All right. So now that my hair is in the opposite direction, I flip it over to the other side to finish off the style. Very simple. Obviously, I'm taking forever to show it to you guys, but this would take me not even a minute in real time. So let's go ahead and let's flip it over. And like, I don't even need to continue, but you guys see the immense amount of volume that's being provided here, right? If I shake my head around, it's not going anywhere, right? You see that volume? I know you do on YouTube, TikTok, I know you see that. Instagram, I know you see that. So I can go ahead and just keep running the product through my hair as I finish off the style. Let's keep it going here. Keep it going. My hair is a little long, so, you know, usually I would prefer my hair to be a little bit shorter, but I'm cutting my hair on Wednesday, so looking forward to that. So I can cut on this. My hair is a little bit too long. All right, here we go. Let's push this down on the side here. Push this down on that side here. Yeah, I got so much hair. There we go. Now, another really cool thing about this product, and honestly, it's probably one of my favorite things about it, because it's a natural product, because the ingredients in here are natural. There's only 6 natural ingredients. Some of them are organic, some of them are not. When oxygen hits the product starts to oxidize a little bit, which makes it easier to mold when you're styling. So after about an hour from now, I'll be able to not only style it better, but it'll look even better as well. So my hairstyle will not only look better in about an hour from now, and throughout the entire day for that matter, but it'll be easier to move my hands and work my way through it. Now, this is kind of, I would say, the finished look. The immense amount of volume that I have, you see the texture, all the little lines in between each. Like this is the look right here, right? So it's just an incredible product, and I don't know, man. Like I've been doing hair stuff for over 16 years. I've been cutting my own hair for over 16 years. And I've been using brands like Hans de Foucault, Suavecito, Blue Mon. I've been using so many different brands. And it wasn't until like last year where I started to actually read the ingredients label on what I've been putting in my hair. And it's just such a disturbing thing when you read the ingredients and there's petroleum. Petroleum was used as engine lubrication in the world wars? Why am I putting toxic engine lube on my hair? Alcohol. Why am I putting alcohol in my hair? Alcohol is what makes it really hard and crunchy and stiff, right? Everybody knows what I'm talking about with alcohol-ridden products. It makes your hair stiff like a rock, and then it's crunchy. Gums, dyes, microplastics. This is a glass jar. You hear that? This is an amber glass jar. The actual product that I'm going to be producing for everyone will also be an amber glass jar, obviously just, bigger, much bigger than this. So when I'm pouring something that's 200 degrees Fahrenheit or even hotter into a jar, the second I pour that 200-degree Fahrenheit product, which is like molten lava, you'll burn yourself if you touch it, into a plastic container, which is what most people on the market, most brands, most hair product brands use, plastic containers. When you put boiling hot things in plastic, the plastic starts to leach into the product. So what you're actually putting into your hair is microplastics. And that's something that I've learned also from Paul Saladino, who's helped me tremendously with like my health and fitness journey, right? Avoiding microplastics. So that's a very, very important thing. So the plastic containers that most brands are putting in, it's garbage, because unless it's like some weird product that doesn't need to be heated, you're getting microplastics in your hair product. And with my product, you're not getting any microplastics. There's no phthalates, there's no sulfates, there's no fragrance, there's no petroleum, there's no alcohol, there's no dyes, carcinogenic dyes like red 40, blue 1, blue 40, black 1, yellow this, like all of these carcinogenic dyes that are banned in Europe that some brands use for their hairstyling product, there's none of that in here. So there's so many things that are wrong with modern society's hair products that I'm solving with mine. And it's just one of those things that I've worked really hard to achieve the things that I've achieved in my life. And I can see that there's a severe gap in the world and in the market regarding health. Not just, the food that I eat, the drinks that we drink, right, what we put in our body, but also on top of our body, like our skin and our hair. There's a major there's just a big problem. I don't want to get into anything deep, but there's a big problem with the world that we live in today, and there's an attack on all of our health. There's an attack on all of our health. And our hair, our skin, what we eat, what we drink, all of that is being attacked. And so what I'm creating with this mystery clay, I actually have a real name for it, but the mystery clay, which is what I've been talking about on Instagram and whatnot, social media, since I started making it, this product is going to change the absolute game. As you can see with my hairstyle, this product is literally so easy to apply, very easy to pull out. When I take a shower tonight, I will only need to use one serving, I don't know, what do you call shampoo? A serving? One serving of shampoo to get it all out. There's no buildup, there's no grease, there's no left residue. It all comes out with one serving of shampoo. So it's very easy. And you know what's really funny? Actually, now that I'm like talking about it, the second I started making this product, I'd say like a few months ago, like halfway through the journey, it's weird. I started to notice my white hairs are like lessening. And I know I'm 29 years old. I don't have many white hairs. Thank God. But I have noticed that the amount of white hairs that I would normally get on the sides of my head, on top of my head, especially the corners right in here, like the sides of my head, the corners, they've either lessened or they've like started to get their color back, which is very weird. And I just wanted to point that out because I have no idea how that's even possible. But I guess it's possible because all 6 ingredients in this jar are hair healthy ingredients. There's not a single toxic ingredient. No BS in this entire jar. 6 natural ingredients that I make myself in my kitchen. Now, that's a wig. No, it is not a wig. That's funny. TikTok guys are funny. That's hilarious. But yeah, so let me real quick just wash my hands because that's it. I'm done. Now what I'll do is I will wait about an hour. Like you see how beautiful it looks right now. In an hour, it'll like just the oxygen will do something to it, but it'll maintain such a beautiful matte sheen, and it's just like amazing. So about an hour from now, it's gonna look even better than what it looks right now. And so let me go ahead, first and foremost, before I wash my hands, let me close the jar because you don't want to keep this open for too long. Again, these are natural ingredients that come from the earth. So you want to make sure you keep this closed so that oxygen doesn't, get into the product for too long, nor water. So no water, no oxygen, especially not water. So make sure you close this as soon as you're done using it because again, they're natural ingredients. So let me go ahead and let me get my soap. Let me get my towel. And let's go ahead and wash my hands. Now, if you guys want to ask me any questions, that's, we're also doing a Q&A right now. So go ahead and feel free to ask me any questions that you have about the product. And I can help you with any questions you have. Even though this is really difficult because I'm looking at like 3 different cameras at the same time. One sec, let me just finish washing my hands. And the product comes out really easily too with just soap and water. It's not water soluble. Like it will feel like there's obviously still something there in your hands, like most products. But it's not like you're sitting there scrubbing like this. You're like, get out of my hands, right? You're not doing that. That's how it was when I first started making the product. I had no idea what I was doing. So funny. Oh, that's good. All right, let me go ahead and answer some of your guys' questions now. Let's see. Here we go. I'm getting hungry. I got lunchtime at 12. For those of you guys that don't know, I fast for 18 hours every day. So I haven't eaten since 6 o'clock yesterday, 6 p.m. And it is almost, it's 11:30. I eat at 12. So about an 18-hour fast. All right, now YouTube, where's the chat? Live chat. There we go, okay. Let me see if there's any questions. What's going on? I didn't even say, did I say hello to everybody? Hello, everyone. I didn't even know if I said hello. Okay, this is a common question I think I've been seeing is pricing. So the pricing will be, so let's put it this way. Let me try and say this the best way as possible. Once the testers come back to me with their feedback, right, that's going to be in a couple of weeks, they're going to tell me what they think. And if I need to make adjustments, I will. But if the product is as perfect and amazing as I strongly believe it is, then it will be ranged in the upper end of the product pricing. So I bought 6 or 7 different products that were between $25 and like $33. And that was like before shipping and taxes and whatnot. So most products that I paid for to get a comparison were between $25 and like $33. Now, after using my product, after looking at the fact that it's a glass jar, there's only 6 ingredients. The ingredients are natural ingredients, so they're healthy for your hair. There's no phthalates, sulfates, petroleum, alcohol, dyes, seed oils, microplastics, gums, you name it, cruelty-free, all of that. There's none of that. This product is going to be priced at the upper threshold of that. I'm thinking in the upper 20s. So I'm thinking in the upper 20s right now. So it's still going to be competitive with the other brands, but it's going to be a little bit higher than most of them, as long as when the testers come back, they say, Alex, your product is amazing. I will never buy any other product in the world, ever, for the rest of my life. If that's the response I get from my testers, that's what it's going to be. And it's very fair because guess what? If I were to ask you guys, would you buy a Bentley for $10,000? Some of you may say yes. But some of you will be like, wait a second, why would I buy a Bentley? Who is selling a Bentley for $10,000? What is wrong with that Bentley? It's the same thing with this. If I have something as amazing as a Bentley, what type of message am I giving the world if I price it lower than what other people are pricing theirs at when I know mine is better? Right? Why would I price my Bentley at the same price you can get a Ford Fiesta? Doesn't make sense. Exactly. The jars will be 2.1 ounce jars. So this is a ½ ounce jar. This is a ½ ounce. Matter of fact, give me 1 second. Let me go to my room real fast and I'll grab one for you. Give me 1 second. Don't go anywhere. 1 sec. And make sure my mirror doesn't fall. All right, we're good. And we're back. You guys see how easy it is? Look at that. Whenever I need to cut my own hair, you see how quick my room is? So, this is the jar. Well, maybe not the exact jar, but the size of the jar that will be sold. It's a 2 or 2.1 ounce jar. All right, let me bring it into Instagram. All right, it's 4 times bigger than this one. This is a ½ ounce jar. So this is 2 ounces. So it's about 4 times the size. Right? 2 to 2.1 ounces. You know, and obviously, you know, I'm not skimpy with my product. So when I pour the product in the jar, it's going to be almost up to the brim, right? So it's going to be a lot. So I'll put more in because I'm not Skimpy McGee, right? I'm not Skimps McGee. Skimps McGee. That's hilarious. If you guys didn't notice, I like to, you know, crack jokes at myself because it's fun. So this is going to be the sizing, all right? It's probably going to last. I mean, I don't know. If you style your hair every single day, honestly, I don't even know. I haven't even tested it out to know how long it could last. But probably at least a month to like a month and a half, 2 months, like 1 to 2 months if you use it daily, I would think, right? I'd have to test that out. I'm not too sure. But this is the size, all right? Pretty big. It's a pretty big jar. This could last you 1, 2, 3 months, and depending on how often you use it, if you only style your hair once a week, this could last you like a year or two, right? And it does last 2 years because of the vitamin E oil and the rosemary oil. Those are also preservatives as well as they have benefits for your hair. So because those are in there, it makes the product last almost up to 2 years. So if you only style your hair once a week, good. You're still good for at least 2 years. Let me see if there are any other Well, there's a lot of questions actually, but how do I live chat? There we go. Da, 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 da. Has your product been tested to confirm its ingredients? Yeah, so when I'm buying the products, like the actual ingredients, I make sure I read the labels on them as well. So if it's USDA organic, I look for that. If it says that it's 100% pure natural, I look at the ingredients as well. I also look to see if it has the little bunny rabbit that says cruelty free. Um, I look at the packages when I'm buying the ingredients to make sure that it is what it actually says it is, right? I'm just so you guys know, I'm very health conscious. I eat the same foods every single day, and I have been eating the same exact foods twice a day for the past year and a half. When I go grocery shopping, I read the ingredient labels of every single thing I buy if it has ingredient labels. So fruit, there's no ingredient labels, but I usually buy organic if they have it. So whenever I'm looking at anything that I buy, you best believe I'm very health conscious and I'm very conscious of the ingredients label. So I make sure I look at it. All the ingredients. I make sure I look at how it's sourced to. I read the About Us page for the company that actually sells the product, the ingredients. So I believe me, these are all fantastic questions. But I'm always one step ahead. Like I know what you're asking, and I know what you're looking for. Believe me, and I'm taking a look at it too. When will they go on sale? Good question. I don't know, not yet. But I will say, timeline wise, I just mailed out the testing samples. So the same exact size I sent out to my testers. My brother also, his coworkers got a bunch of them, and my brother got one as well. He's biased, so I'm not really going to take his feedback to heart too much. But I sent about 15 people are testing out this clay. So, and I'm going to be doing a 15-minute Zoom call with every single one of them after about 2 weeks of testing. So they're going to use the product for about 10 times through 14-day period, and then they're going to give me all of their feedback, which that's going to be at least in another 3 weeks from now, because they should all be getting the product this week. So from this week, 2 weeks from this week, so about 3 weeks from now. And then once I get their feedback, I will either be, super happy that they love the product and I don't need to change anything, or they come back to me and they say, Alex, we didn't like this. We think this could be changed a little bit. Let's change this around, and then I'll take in all their feedback and figure out what I should do from that point on. If I need to make adjustments, I'll make adjustments. So it could be anywhere from a few months to even like the end of the year. All right, just to be honest, right, and take my time. I know speed to the market is very important, but I also know I'm not trying to sell anything to anybody ever that isn't my best product with my best foot forward. And that's just me. You look at my course, you look at my book, you look at my YouTube videos, my tutorials. I put so much effort into everything that I do in my life. And I'm certainly not going to let this clay be any different. Right? I have a very high standard for myself and a very high standard for life. And I like to keep it that way. Like I said, I'm very like this with my health, with my fitness, with my YouTube channel, with my life, with my relationships. Everything is like this. I've got a high standard and I hold myself up to a high standard. I fail a lot, but I succeed way more because I keep my standard and I don't let anybody sway me. So however long it takes, I'm hoping sometime this year. So if I can keep it a simple answer, I'm hoping sometime this year I will have it live for you guys to buy. So that's what my hopes are. Let me go over. I think, let's see. TikTok had some. I think that was. Let me see the YouTube real quick. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I think that was all the ones that were different on YouTube. Okay. Is the product scented? Yes. So there is no fragrance, there is no perfume, no fragrance, no nothing. This product, I want it to be fragrance free. Something that you guys don't know about me. Obviously, I just told you I'm very health conscious about my health, and I take very good care of my what I eat and drink. But I'm also very sensitive to scents. And one of the big problems with fragrances is that they're endocrine disruptors. Growing up, I used to get very sick very often because of a lack of understanding how the human body works and not eating the correct foods, and also being surrounded by endocrine disrupting smells, like the air fresheners you have in your car, scented candles all throughout your house, fragrances in every single humanly made product known to man, shampoos, conditioners, hair products. Everywhere you go, it smells like something. Like there's like you go to the mall and the whole mall smells like cologne. It smells like candles. It smells like this. The problem with that for me, and you guys may or may not have that issue, I'm very sensitive to chemical synthetic smells. So for me, having a fragrance-free product is very important because I get sick. It will hurt my throat. It'll hurt the lymph nodes in my throat, and I will get sick. Yes, it's live, John. John, we're live, brother. So I get sick with their endocrine disrupt the chemicals that they put in fragrances, not mine, but other brands who make hairstyling products, candles, colognes, they're all endocrine disruptors. I remember a few months ago, I put on cologne because my girlfriend and I were going out. We went out, I took her to the Avatar live in concert. Very expensive. We got front row seats. It was amazing. I highly recommend the Avatar live in concert. It was so good. And I put cologne on, the normal here, like my back, and the little thing on the wrist, whatnot. Instantly, within like an hour, my throat was already hurting. And then I woke up the next day and my throat was killing me. And I was sick for about a week and a half after that. So yeah, me and chemicals and fragrances and perfumes do not go well together. We don't mix. And so that's why it's very important for me to have a product that is fragrance free. Now, does the product actually smell like something? Yes. So when I open it, the first thing and the only thing that I smell is rosemary oil. It smells like rosemary essential oil because that's what I put inside the product. So it smells fantastic. I don't know if you guys have ever smelled rosemary essential oil. It smells great. And I like if I had smell-o-vision through the screen, you guys would be like, this smells fantastic. It smells like rosemary oil. So I don't have any issues with this because it's in a I'm pretty sure is this organic? I don't remember. But it's an essential oil. And there's the perfect dosage too, because it needs to be under 2% for the entire product. Otherwise, it's like too much. Or like there's like an actual, I don't know if it's a legal thing, not a legal thing, but like it's a thing with essential oils that they need to be mixed with like other things, and like I don't know how to say it. I'm not a science expert, but there's less than 2%, which is the correct amount of rosemary oil. But the second you open it, it smells instantly like rosemary oil, which is, as we know, essential oils are fairly strong, and because there's not more than 2%, it smells great. And it's not overpowering either, which obviously I would get sick if it were overpowering, but it's perfect. So long story short, there's no fragrances, but it does smell like rosemary oil. And Okay, let me see if I can find some other. There was a bunch that I gotta scroll through here. Is the product scented? Yep, got that one done. Da, da, da. If you have any questions, ask me your questions. I'm gonna get to Instagram next. How large are the jars? I said they're 2-ounce jars, but I can put a little bit more in there, so I'll probably make it like 2.1. So they're 2-ounce jars when you open them, right? They're very big jars. Right? You see how big it is to my head, and I got a big head. I got a big head, and they're pretty big. And so you can fill it up to the little crevice here right before it, like this mark right here before you screw on the cap this is the 2-ounce mark, and I will probably put a tiny bit more because, you know, I don't want it to overflow because then it's too difficult to scoop out. But I will probably put a little bit more, so it'll be like 2.1 ounces. And oh, another thing, the lid will be aluminum. So it's an amber glass jar, and the lid is aluminum. Amber glass jar, aluminum lid. So when I say no microplastics, no plastic touching my product, I mean it. There's no plastics touching my product. All right, I'm very, very serious. I don't want any, like, no garbaggio products or ingredients in my jar, and my jar needs to be glass with the aluminum lid. So I'm like very gung ho about this. Let's see. He said change the price to $39.99. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can go that high. That's the market. The market would, like, you know what's funny? When I was with my girlfriend a few weeks ago, she went to Sephora, and you know how women's anything at Sephora is like breaks the bank, right? She went to Sephora, and because it smells like there's like a million different smells. I waited outside the store for like 45 minutes. The second I walked in there, it was just like a giant. It's like, you know what it's like? You remember that SpongeBob episode where SpongeBob's strolling through the perfume department in the Flying Dutchman's, that episode, and then he's got the hazmat mask on, and then the big hand sprays the stuff in his face, and he's like, "Wah." That's how I feel whenever I go into any store that has scents and synthetic smells. So I waited outside Sephora for like 45 minutes. My girlfriend comes out with this itty little bag. She's got this itty little bag. It's like this big, right? This itty little bag. And then I look in the bag. There's like 4 things, and they're like this big. There's like 4 things in that little bag that she had. I'm like, babe, how much money did you spend? She's like, $220. $220. $220 for a little itty bitty bag that was like this big with like 4 or 5 things. And then I ran the numbers for price per ounce for some of the makeup. I think she had like foundation or something because the one she had before was super old. For her foundation, price per ounce to the product for mine, let's say it's like $28. Price per ounce, my product would cost her $90 for what she spent for the same foundation that she bought at Sephora. It would have costed her 90 schmackaroos, $90 US. That's like 3 times the price per ounce that this would cost. So I'm just, women are getting absolutely obliterated with cosmetics. And so men, we're not at those levels yet. And I think we're good where we're at. Believe me, I think we're good. We don't need hair clay selling for $90. As amazing as it is, we don't need hair clay selling for $90. Okay? So It's a good question, but it was a funny little story I had to share with you guys. Um, let's see. Da, 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 da. Let's see, okay. Da, da, da. Wig. I do not have a wig. This is my real hair. This is my real hair. There is no wig. There is no wig. I've got naturally very thick hair. Okay, there's like 60 messages. Let me see. Anything here? This is a good question. Okay. Will you sell this product on a site? Yes. So I will have obviously my own website that you can purchase it off of. I have the brand name, I have the labels already being printed. Everything looks absolutely, you guys are going to be mind blown with how amazing this thing looks. Like, I know I said it before, I have a very high standard for anything that I do, but you guys are going to be pretty amazed at how this product looks when you get it in the mail. Just like the jar and the packaging and everything, it's going to be like, whoa, what did I just buy? This is like the Rolex of hair clay. Right? So I will be selling it on my own, obviously, brand website. I want to also sell it on the TikTok shop. I do want to sell it on the TikTok shop. I also want to sell it on Amazon. So my own website, Amazon, and TikTok shop. Those are the three that I'm, thinking of right now to have it on. So good question. Will the jar affect product cost? No. So there's one thing that, I know a lot of brands use plastic, and like I mentioned throughout this entire live stream, plastic is garbage because these companies are pouring in boiling hot stuff into plastic, and the microplastics are leaching into the product. You're putting in microplastics in your hair. There will not be any like additional pricing, charge because it's in glass, right? I'm not charging more money necessarily because it's in glass, but again, because there's not going to be any, let's say, added microplastics from pouring my product into the jar. It's going to be obviously a premium product, right? But again, I'm not going to be charging like, oh, an extra $10 because it's in jar. That's not what I'm doing here. So if you want, you can look at other brands that are very popular on Amazon or online. Most of the ones that are like $25 to $35, they're all in plastic. Mine will not be in plastic. Mine will be in glass jars, amber glass jars, again for the light too, so the light doesn't oxidize it quicker. So amber glass jars with the aluminum lid, and it's not really going to be affecting the price. Obviously, it will be a more premium product because of what's in it and how it works, but that's not affecting the price. So that's another good question. Does your product work with all hair types? Good question. I don't necessarily know yet. What I can say is if you've ever purchased a high hold matte finish product before, it will probably work for you. The product itself is a high hold matte finish product, right? It's a high hold matte finish product. So if you've ever put a high hold, if you've purchased other brands' high hold matte finish products, and you were like, oh, it's styled pretty well in my hair, whatever, then it's gonna give you the same type of result, obviously, but with way better ingredients, way better. So whatever hair types a high hold matte finish product work for right now, for you, whatever, if you've ever used it, that's how it's going to work, right? So I can't be like, if you have thin hair, I'm not sure that, but that's also part of the reason why I'm doing it with testers. So, 15 people are going to be testing out my product, and I'm going to ask them when I'm on the Zoom call with them, Do you have thin hair? Do you have thick hair? Do you have short hair, medium, long? Is it straight, wavy, coarse, coily, curly? Is it, I'm asking all of those questions so that I know personally exactly how to answer your question whenever I get asked it again. So I think it's a pretty good answer given what I know so far, but that's what my answer would be so far. Anything on the tube before I go over to Instagram? Da, da, da. I think I have the perfect name for your own product. That's hilarious. Yeah, drop it in the chat just so I can see it. I could use a nice laugh. All right, let me see. Are there questions here? Okay, good question. Dylan, good question. Good answer, good answer. Will you ship it worldwide? That's my goal. My goal is to. Now, something that's been very stressful on my life over the past few weeks has been figuring out how that's possible given the fact that it's going to be handmade here in Florida. So shipping costs will be a lot more to get on a plane and fly it to whatever country you're from. Whether the UK, Greece, Spain, Indonesia, India, China, Africa, South America, Alaska, wherever. Russia, I don't know. It's going to be more money for anybody that is outside of the United States of America. And that's just, obviously to be expected. That's to be expected. But I do plan on shipping it worldwide and making sure that I do my best to monitor and research the quality control regulations that these other countries have, like Europe, for example. So I have to make sure I have certain things on the label so that it doesn't get like flagged when it reaches a different country in a different, regulation area. So my goal is to ship it worldwide. Yes, that's my goal. But it will be more expensive because of shipping, obviously, and it's all being handmade here in America, in Florida. Let's see. I answered how much will it cost earlier. Somewhere in the upper 20s, maybe low 30s. I'm not really leaning in the low 30s, but potentially upper 20s, low 30s ish, because that's where other products that are marketed similarly to this, but are just not in the same league. Let's keep it going. I'm gonna finish up. I'm only gonna do like maybe one or two questions, and then I gotta eat. I'm getting hungry. I got lamb waiting for me. I'm getting hungry. That's there's a what's going on? Buzz cuts. Let's see. I only want to answer questions about the actual product. Is there any on the tube? Because I'm scrolling for a minute here. Okay, let me just keep scrolling. Hold on. We're getting somewhere. A lot of these questions are about buzz cuts. Here we go. I got one on TikTok. I'm still scrolling on Instagram. It's just join. Paul, good question. Does it wash out easily? So I answered this a little bit earlier, but for those of you that joined late, I'll answer it again. Does the mystery clay wash out easily? When I first started making the product, it was like a brick. I was in that shower shampooing like 3 times to get it out of my hair. But after many failed attempts and many successful attempts, this product, I only use 1 serving of shampoo. I don't know what you call a shampoo serving. Do you call it servings? I'm calling it servings. I use 1 serving, which is like, I don't know, a dollop like this big I don't know, a normal serving of shampoo. Just one of them. I shampoo my hair like normal. I leave it in my hair for a few minutes because it's an anti-dandruff shampoo. And that's it. That's it. It goes away. There's no, what's the, it's like when you run your hands through it and you can still feel like something's in there. There's none of that. It all washes out very easily in the shower. So just one go with the shampoo, and then it's good. You don't need to be sitting in the shower shampooing like 30 times to get it out. It's very easy. So it's a good question. Um, it's wait, what? It's hard. Is it hard or it's hard? I don't know what that is. Also, is it sensitive to skin, i.e., cause breakouts? I would assume no. I would assume it does not cause breakouts nor sensitive to skin. If you want to hear, I'll list all 6 ingredients again, and you can look it up for yourself on Google, ChatGPT, and see if it's possibly irritant to sensitive skin. I made sure when I was looking at the list of possible ingredients to make this with that it wasn't sensitive to skin, because you guys have seen my haircut videos probably. You see the back of my head, right? In some of these videos, and it's just like a jungle fungus zoo. Okay, I've got very sensitive skin, and I've been using this product, the final version of this product for a few weeks, and it's been amazing. My skin's looked amazing. I've got no issues with my skin. There's no breakouts. I don't get pimple. I mean, a lot of this stuff too, like breakouts, is more so gut health related stuff. So your nutrition is very important for your gut health. Your gut health is what controls a lot of skin issues too. And so that's part of the reason also why my skin looks so good is because of the food that I eat, because I'm controlling my gut health. Now, sensitive skin, yes, I understand what you're saying. But for this product, no. I've never had anything, but you know what? That's a good question for me to ask my testers if they have sensitive skin and if they felt like their skin's gotten worse since using the product. That's a good question. I don't have a pen and paper on me right now, but I will ask them that question. Yeah, that's a good question. Sensitive to skin. I'll remember that. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. I think that was it, right? Was that all the... I'll do maybe one more. Let's see. Okay, maybe I'll do one more question if I can find one that's different. That isn't about me buzz cutting my hair. Something that's not about buzzing my hair. Okay. I think TikTok had a little bit more. Let me see real quick. I got one question before I go and eat. Maybe I'll skip to the very beginning. Anything here? Let's see. One last question before I get going. There's a good questions for self haircut related stuff, but I'm only gonna keep this about the hair product. Let's see. I think that might have been it. Is there anything that I have to say about it? Okay, let me see. Is there anything that I can say? Let's see. So I covered the actual jar. I covered the potential price. I covered the testing. I covered the ingredients. Oh, I didn't even say the ingredients. Okay, I didn't even say the ingredients when I said I would. The ingredients there's 6 of them. All right, we've got the first one, which is shea butter. So I use unrefined shea butter. So it's not refined, it's unrefined, which means it's the most natural form of shea butter. So I use unrefined shea butter, which is the more natural form of shea butter, which has way more healthy hair benefits than refined. So it's like ancient grain flour, like einkorn, versus wheat flour, which is bleached and hybridized and colorless. There's a big difference. Okay, so the first ingredient is unrefined shea butter. Then we have arrowroot powder. Okay, and I believe the one that I use is organic, USDA organic. The next ingredient is beeswax. The next ingredient is kaolin clay. The fifth ingredient is rosemary essential oil. And the sixth ingredient is vitamin E oil. That's it. So 6 ingredients in this clay, right? There's only 6 ingredients to get the hairstyle that you guys see right now. All right? There's only 6 ingredients in this product. So my goal obviously was to keep it low in ingredients because I know that you don't need a lot of ingredients to make something good. It's just like, you know what it's kind of like? With my diet, I only eat, for the most part, single ingredient foods, right? Like if it's red meat, it's red meat. If it's yogurt, it's just yogurt. If it's cheese, like Parmigiano Reggiano, it's only Parmigiano Reggiano. If it's kefir, it's only kefir. If it's, something else, it's only one ingredient. Chicken, turkey, beef, lamb, it's always one ingredient. So my goal was to keep the ingredients like in the product the least amount as possible. So my goal was to, how do I make this product with the least amount of healthy ingredients as possible without affecting its actual performance? Because a lot of times with a lot of these brands out here that make hair products, they do everything right. The packaging is great, the marketing is great, but then you actually get the product and you use it and it doesn't perform. Performance is lacking. And I can say that about a few of the products that I bought when figuring out how to formulate this one. Some of these brands out here do a great job of marketing, great job of packaging. When you put that bad boy in your hair, this thing stinks. It stinks. Anyway, so yeah, 6 ingredients. Most of these other brands have between 20 and like 60 ingredients, and they all sound like they're a different language because you can't even pronounce the majority of them because they're all made in a lab. That's not what we're doing here. Okay, is the product vegan? I would assume so. Yeah, there's no. Yeah, vegan like plant-based. Yeah, there's nothing animal in here. It's not tested on animals. It's cruelty-free. And I make sure that every ingredient that I buy from the manufacturer, it says cruelty-free on those ingredients. So I know for a fact this is cruelty-free because every material that I buy from each company, they have the little bunny rabbit that says cruelty-free. So I would assume, and there's no animal product or byproduct in here. There's no beef tallow or anything like that in here. I'm assuming this is just vegan. It's plant-based, right? Earth-based. Well, that's another good question. I will write that down too. Okay, so that's it. That's it for now. I'm gonna go eat. I'm starving. Thank you to everyone who joined. This has been a really fun way to introduce you guys. I know for those of you that are on Instagram, you have seen me talk about my mystery clay for so often since the very beginning. Same with on YouTube and TikTok a little bit, not as much, but this has been a pretty long journey and we're still going through it and getting everything perfect. My goal is to make this as perfect as possible for all of you because I've got very high standards of life. And everything that I do has to be a high standard. Otherwise, I will not put it out into the world. So I'm super excited about this product here. I use it almost every day. Some days, obviously, I don't because I don't want anything in my hair. That's just because I'm a little bit lazy and I just want my hair to chill out. but I could literally use this every day and not have any issues. Plus, whenever I use it, I have to shampoo, and I don't like shampooing that often, nor do I think it's necessary. So, 1 second there. There we go. Okay, we good? Good. So, I'm excited about this. I appreciate every single one of you who joined live, who asked me questions, and of course, I will be notifying every single one of you on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram whenever I finish with my testers, whenever they give me all their feedback, and I am ready to start actually putting this product out on the market. So when that time comes, believe me, everybody will be notified. I will probably do another live stream just like this, but with the actual jar, the label, the packaging, and I'll probably go over, the actual shipping, packaging, and things like that, just so you guys know exactly what you're getting. This is what I think is beautiful about the fact that you all follow me and the fact that I do live streams, because with a massive business, massive corporation, you probably wouldn't get this type of hands-on, customer service. So I will probably do another live stream when the time comes, when I have everything ready, the websites, everything's in order, and you guys will all be notified, believe me. So patience, right? Patience is the key. So thank you all so much. I really appreciate you joining in, asking me all of your questions. You guys are amazing. Those of you that follow me for self haircuts, those of you that are just awesome at always leaving comments. I read a lot of the comments that you guys post. There's a lot of them, so I can't read all of them, but I read a lot of them, as many as I can. And you guys have always great things to say, which I really appreciate, because it's such a cool thing to cut your own hair and learn how to do this skill, because life is getting very, very expensive. And I feel that when I go grocery shopping, I feel that if I ever need to go to get like medicine for whatever reason, I feel that when I go to the gas station, when I pay for tolls, when I pay for car insurance, home insurance, I feel life is expensive. So learning this skill set, it's never been more important in 2025 ever in human history. Learning how to cut your own hair and saving some serious money for the rest of your life by learning the skill. And I think adding the product as well on top of the skill just adds another layer of just awesomeness, right? You're saving money and you're putting good quality stuff in your finished product, which is your beautiful haircut. So I'm excited about it. I'm happy, and I appreciate all of you guys so much. So thank you all, and I will catch you in the next time, or in the next video next time. All right, take care. God bless. Bye-bye.